Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another live stream. So as you can see here from this visualization of the stock market, today a fairly rough day for a variety of assets. I mean, specifically semiconductors getting hit in a big way, all sorts of risk assets selling off, and silver does not appear to be immune to this sell-off. In fact, as of the moment we're doing this live stream, silver is down 3.5% today. So the silver price is falling in a very significant way along with these other assets. Now, this is largely in part due to the jobs numbers, which were released this morning, which were not good. They didn't meet expectations, but they weren't quite bad enough for markets to begin believing that there's a lot of easy money coming. I mean, everybody agrees that the Fed is about to cut rates, but the disagreement is how much. And I talked about this in a live stream earlier today, so you can go back and watch that if you want to get into depth about what we heard from the Federal Reserve and the jobs data. But what I want to focus on here is something a little more technical, and actually this is based on something I read in a comment on an earlier video regarding this chart that you're looking at here of the silver price. And I thought it was a really interesting comment, and this has to do with where silver could be headed from here, but when specifically is it going to break out of this holding pattern that it has been in for months now. Going back to February, we had silver down around 22 bucks. Had a big breakout into May where it got up to as high as 32.50. Since that time, it's been a big consolidation. Silver trading sideways, bouncing around in this triangle formation. Now, I put this chart in an earlier video, and again, it was a comment that I just wanted to share with everybody because it was an interesting insight. So first of all, how far could the silver price fall from here? Well, obviously, it's not going to zero. I can tell you that much, but short-term forecasts about how volatile an asset like silver can be, take everything with a grain of salt, including what I'm saying. But it looks to me like this chart shows that silver could fall a little bit further, not much more if it stays within this triangle. We'd be looking for a bottom around maybe $27. And I think we might see that around this time here, around September 18th. That's when the Fed begins its September meeting. I do think that we could see silver bottoming around that time, around the time that a rate cut announcement finally makes its way to us. And, if we look at the CME FedWatch tool, you can see it's likely that we're going to get a 25 basis point rate cut, not the 50 basis point rate cut that many investors had been hoping for. However, I do think it's likely that more rate cuts will be following that, including potentially some more extreme measures. But so I would say look for a target around 27 bucks and maybe the low 27s, not far below where we are now, around the time of that Fed meeting. But the comment that I got from a viewer on an earlier video regarding this chart was interesting, was where these two lines intersect. So you've got the top part of the triangle, the bottom part of the triangle. You notice they come together in November. Now, November is going to be a very important month this year because that is when the election takes place. And I think there is a lot of money on the sidelines right now. A lot of investors are simply waiting until we get a confirmation of what will follow November. But one thing I think is very likely that we are going to see following November is, for one thing, additional rate cuts from the Federal Reserve, more easy money policy. But, it doesn't have to do with the jobs numbers, with the employment sector. The Fed's got their dual mandate: fight inflation, maintain full employment. However, I think that their real agenda has nothing to do with those two things. And really the biggest factor that's going to be driving cuts, especially after November, once the election takes place, and the Fed really will have a lot more political cover to do whatever it needs to do. Before the election, they can't uncork the easy money machine, right? They can't just turn on a flood of fiat currency because likely that will be very inflationary. That could affect the outcome of the election. But once the election takes place, it's going to be another 4 years until we get another presidential election, whatever you want to call it. Fed's going to have a lot of cover to inflate at that point. Now, one thing that I think confirms that is, look at this. This is the most recent Treasury statement for July. And you can see that in July, the Treasury was running a $244 billion deficit. Now, if you annualize that, we can pull our little calculator out, and that would imply, if you annualize that rate of deficit spending, nearly a $3 trillion deficit is what we are running right now based on the numbers from July. And that, whoever wins in November, is very likely to not only increase, but potentially explode. If we are heading into a recession here, as the jobs numbers would indicate, even the cooked, fake jobs numbers that come out of the BLS, what happens in a recession? Well, government spending and deficit spending, they don't decrease, right? They increase as the government tries to stimulate its way out of a recession. That is what we have witnessed pretty much every time for the past several decades. No reason to believe that is going to change. And if right now, we're being told by the political elites it's an incredibly strong economy, everything's great, and yet we're running a deficit of $244 billion per month. So, following the November election, I think that is when we may see silver break out of this triangle and begin its next major up leg. Now, I did something today to prepare for that. On today's drop, silver's down, down 3.32% as of this very moment. I took advantage of today's dip. I picked up some more 90% junk silver coins from SD Bullion. They're on sale right now. Picked up a couple rolls of these. Also got myself a silver maple leaf coin. They've got a promotion where those are on sale for spot price, one per customer right now. So I picked that up. Will silver fall a little bit further between now and the September meeting? Possibly. In fact, I think that this chart indicates that may well be the case. But look, my view here is not to pick tops and bottoms. I'm just dollar cost averaging. I like to buy on days when silver is down. It's down pretty significantly today, so I did some more stacking. But I do think that following the November election, once these two lines coincide, that could be when we see a breakout to the upside for silver. Once all of the uncertainty surrounding the election, what the Fed's going to do next, is over. And, for all the uncertainty that there is out there, I think one thing is guaranteed, and that is that this number, the deficit, is going to continue to balloon, to increase. You can see that $81 billion of spending in July was interest, net interest on the debt, $81 billion. That's almost $3 billion per day, which is basically what we're paying in interest right now. Only way for the Federal Reserve to get that under control and to enable the massive deficits which are likely to follow the election in November is to for them to cut rates, for them to buy up debt, for them to get rates very low, for them to be very stimulative to this economy. And that's why I think that following the November election, we're going to see silver breakout. We're going to see gold breakout. Gold is sitting right around all-time record highs. You can see it's in the red today too. Like if you want the more stable store of value, the thing that really has a very bullish chart, I think gold is a great buy right now. And of course, none of this is financial advice, just my point of view. But I bought some more silver today because silver I view as being one of the most undervalued assets on the planet. It's on sale today, and it's looking like we may only be a couple months away from a breakout to the upside and a resumption of silver's move higher. Now, gold is sitting near record all-time highs. Again, silver is at, about half of its record all-time high. We're not even talking about inflation-adjusted highs, just the nominal price. So silver is on super sale. It's on extra sale today because it has fallen. And yet we are approaching a point where I believe we will see a breakout. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you buying this dip in silver? I just did. And could it fall a little further? Sure. If it does, I'll probably buy more. Even if it goes up, I'll probably buy a little bit more because we are nowhere near a top in this market. Sure, silver is a volatile metal, as you can see by today. But that's why I like to buy on these big dips. And let me know if you're taking advantage of this dip in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe and happy stacking.